Good morning. Can I speak to Mr. Mulla? Pardon? I don't think Imran wants to speak to me. Could you just make Mr. Mulla aware there's a call waiting?
I told him yesterday about the DNA.
Yeah, oh, did you? And did you get anything information back?
I finished for the day, so
Oh, I can hear him laughing in the background.
yeah.
Okay, I don't mind holding.
I'm just going to put you through to the market.
Okay. Yes, good morning, Mr. Mulla.
How are you?
You got a very distinctive laugh. I could hear it in the background. Like myself, you got a very distinctive laugh. How are you doing?
Alright, thank you. And you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Yes. Obviously, you are aware that I've made some inquiries regarding what benefit my brother's on. Because I don't think he should be on £115 a week.
So that's all we're getting at the moment.
What are you getting? Is it ESA?
Yeah.
What about his PIP or DLA?
I think we're still in dialogue with DWP to find out what's happening.
Well, this is obviously. I mean, the good news is that I think I've tried really hard to get my mother's vehicle, and I think they've conceded that. So my brother still got access to a vehicle. So that's a positive, but obviously it's not been helped by yourselves or the situation, and the fact that my brother's not. And if I recall from speaking to Adalat, he was telling me there's somebody stolen his DLA money and he's not getting it as well. And he was telling me so. Anyway, when was the last time you managed to speak to Adalat?
I'll have to ask that Pat if he was dealing with that at the time. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Because obviously, I've got some further information from my mother's social workers who have made contact with Adalat.
Well, I think we've tried a few times, but he hasn't been responding to our calls.
Yes, and I think that's the same situation with my mother's social workers. They've tried contacting him several times, but what they've subsequently told the courts is that he did contact them back on the 7th of January, saying that he would potentially look to house my mother, and then later on said that it would not be appropriate. So he's made contact with them. But because there's a lack of dialogue between your departments or you, the council, on the one hand, the local authority, in my mother's case, are looking to fully engage my brother Adalat and giving him rights of access to my mum, saying that he has a right to see his mum and if he wants to, and we're fully supportive of him housing his mother and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, with yourselves, you're not having any joy with him in relation to my brother Talib. Okay. And so it's a bit of a conflict of interest where they are saying that we need to ensure that Adalat's rights are protected in relation to having access to see his mother, and which is nobody's actually stopped him. But they're in communication with him. But yet this is a far more serious matter where I've lodged a formal safeguarding complaint. And everything's still pretty much up in the air. And now this is a year later since my brother was discharged into my care.
Well, I can plan.
Just 1 second. Sorry, what was that?
I can plan in terms of the legal, but
Yeah.
can do, you see, that's the problem. Our hands are tied in terms of I personally can do.
I understand, but your hands are not tied in relation to telling me what benefits he's on. Number one, and number two is that you've alluded to this document that gives you legal authority, which I'm struggling to get a hold of a copy of, because ideally what should have happened is that after the hearing on the 2nd of January 2018, 2 years ago, where my sisters were a respondent, they should have been given those documents by the Court of Protection. I've gone back to the Court of Protection. They said, no, it should have been the solicitor. I've then been liaising with the solicitor. I gave my brother Adalat's solicitor, Rodney Noon, both my sister's LPA and now my brother Talib's LPA, and he's refusing to engage with us. And I believe last year in February engaged yourself and gave you the case file. I don't understand the legality of that, but now he's not even answering his phone.
Well, we've had the same problem trying to
But
send us the case file, which is obviously with our legal people. That's where we are.
yeah, but I'm sure that was in February, March time when I first spoke to Mr. Vadanian that he had given the case file. And now, under whose instructions had he given the case file? Under what authority? I'm still clueless.
Well, I assume that your brother Adalat might have said, I don't want anything to do with this, and then maybe told him, I'm not going to engage you any further kind of thing. I don't know how that decision was made in terms of him sending the file to us.
Okay, all right. But Mr. Mulla, look, first of all, I'm appreciative. I know that you've received some further instructions from legal not to speak to me, as has been relayed to me by your colleagues. But the reality is that I need to speak to somebody regarding this matter to look to get it resolved. And if you're not the right person that I need to be dealing with, then kindly ask from somebody from legal to contact me or give me their contact details so I can contact them. Because the present situation is one where, we're now several years down the line and my brother's Adalat, how do you know he's not taken the money? How do you know he's not absconded with the money? You don't know, yes. And so would that not be a fair assumption if he's failing to engage with yourself? And I know the character of my brother, and I know the fact that he's that type of guy who would do that, considering that he's been under a deputyship order, and I'm not sure if he's complied with those instructions. So there's clearly a conduct of behavior that needs to be now addressed by legal, because on the one hand, legal have done to me what they need to be now doing to Adalat. And now, because of the financial situation, everybody's like, oh, hands off. Now, Adalat does not have a family trust fund with several £100,000 in it for it to be justified for the local authority to take action against Adalat. I did. And so therefore, when I have not done anything wrong, and obviously, as you know, clearly I've been now looking after my brother and financing his care for a period of over several years now. Nothing's happening, and I'm just basically put on hold like this.
I know where you're coming from, but like I said before, all I can do is relay your concerns to legal.
Okay, but legal is not a person, is it?
Legal, there's somebody obviously there in terms of dealing with the case.
That's correct, yes. And you told me previously it was Rachel Mann.
It was.
I don't think Rachel Mann is in because I've left her. Every time it goes straight to her voice message.
Well, I don't know whether she's still on the case or not. I'm not sure.
She's not even. I mean, she's not. She's on my mother's case, and she's not even answering the calls there, and I'm leaving her messages daily. Is she in?
I don't know whether she was consistent about.
Yeah. No, I understand. Look, Mr. Mulla, I'm just trying to resolve the situation, and the best way it can be resolved is if yourselves accept the lasting power of attorney, which I believe you're not accepting at the moment, and agree to relinquish appointeeship.
As far as your brother is concerned, have you not had any dialogue with Baljit or anybody from that end in terms of trying to resolve it as well?
Well, no, because obviously Balje is very, very. She's telling me she's overwhelmed with other cases that she's dealing with. Mr. Muchichiteri is not an appropriate person. We're asking, they're the city mental health team. What I have advised them is that my brother does not need to be under the city mental health team. He's out in the community. It's now been a year. He's stable through his medication and my care. So why are you not discharging him? So there's something very nefarious going on there. Because obviously what I would like to see is my brother discharged from the city mental health team and to have an allocated social worker to help him secure his housing accommodation. That is a reasonable way to step forward, and also that social worker could then be best positioned to liaise with yourself in regarding any money in the interim. But that everybody seems to be like saying no, we're quite happy to live in this limbo land. And this limbo land that we're presently finding ourselves in is one where we're suffering. So it's not a situation where somebody's looking to resolve themselves. Nobody's ringing me up, Mr. Mulla. You're not ringing me up. You're ringing Adala up, but you're not ringing me up, and I'm having to ring yourself up because we're the one that are suffering. Now, obviously, I've asked yourselves to disclose to us what benefits he's on, and can you confirm that he's only on ESA?
That's all we're getting at the moment.
Okay, all right. And you're not any further along with regards to his DLA?
Well, we contacting DWP about it.
Okay, all right. No, but that has now been going on since you first took over this case, is it not?
Pardon?
That has been the situation. You're looking to liaise with DWP since you first took on since you first took on this role.
Yeah, but they want DWP aligned.
Well, no, I mean obviously, if you write to them, they have to they have to comply within 28 days.
Well, I'll ask Mr. Daniel to chase that out. So.
Oh, okay, all right. But I mean, irrespective, I've asked them, I've given them a documentation that I've got lasting power of attorney. And the fact that you as the local authority are refusing to acknowledge that or accept it, there's consequences to that because we're suffering as a consequence. This situation can easily be resolved with if you accept the lasting power of attorney and agree to relinquish appointeeship. But that is not a position that you're able to take because of legal. And legal is not able to liaise with myself and is allowing the situation to perpetuate.
Right. Well, what I can do, like I say, I can only relay your concerns.
Oh, Mr. Muller, you're going to now say that you can only be a middleman.
Well, that is exactly what I am at the moment.
Yes. All right. And I told you I don't like speaking to middlemen. I'd rather go to the direct decision maker, the source. And
If I line it up to legal, hopefully there's somebody in that department maybe.
okay, all right. Well, if you'd like to flag up the fact that my brother Adalat's now stolen over nearly £100,000 of my brother's money, all right, and is refusing to engage yourself, and because the local authority have set a precedence in prosecuting me and having me convicted for a crime I did not commit, only for Adalat to now commit it, that they should look to equally take action, otherwise there's clear bias being created. Okay, because all I've done is I have raised a safeguarding alert in August, and no further input has happened on this. Now, finally, just to finish off with, how much money does my brother have? Do you still hold?
I would like to say I've been in a meeting. I've just come out of the meeting, so I don't know. I haven't been logged onto the system yet. So.
Okay, all right. Would you be able to confirm to me in writing via email how much money my brother you're still holding on to?
I'll get back to reply to you.
All right. Could you do that by today? All I want is the sum.
Okay.
I have sent an email saying I would like a breakdown of where my brother's money, what's been happening with my brother's money. Are you able to provide a statement of account?
I can't.
Why?
Because that's what the advice is from legal.
Legal is advising you not to give me a statement of account, but you are able to give me a sum.
Once the system's up and running,
All right, you're able to find how many more funds that my brother has. Now, when is we would like all outstanding funds to be delivered, so my brother has access to his money.
Well, you're getting 115 at the moment.
Well, that's but we want. I'm sure that you had several £100 that we didn't collect while we were in Pakistan.
Well, I'd like to say I'll have to look at the system.
If you can find out for us, and when are you proposing to give the money to us?
Well, you'll get your 115 as per normal, and then we'll think about how we can get the other money.
Okay, all right. And what are the present setup that I go to Horton Park to collect it? Well, there's, I've explained to you there's cost associated with my taxing service.
They gave you the money anyway, so we shouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem, but obviously the fact that we have to go and collect the money obviously is a great inconvenience, and the disbursement costs that I've made yourself aware of, and your legal team. Obviously, no doubt you would have forwarded that to legal. The situation is not sustainable, Mr. Muller, as you can appreciate. I'm taking up, and I feel obviously conscious of the fact that I'm taking up your time and resources unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And it is a result of a problem that's been created by you, the council. I'm left with no option but to call yourself up.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, Mr. Muller, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.